Hey guys, what's going on? This is Teo Vanyo, and in another edition of Shopify Tutorials, today I'm going to show you how to basically find interest groups, find target markets for your buyers and for your stores and products and things like that, and how we're going to get started on doing that. Okay, so it's very important that before you get into finding your target market, that you have to get into your buyer's mind first. Okay, you have to think about what your potential prospect buyers are going to purchase and basically their behaviors. Okay, so in this case, let's find out how we can find that data and how we can use that data for your advantage and for your Facebook marketing. Okay, so in this tool here, we have what's called the Facebook Audience Insights. Now, with Facebook Audience Insights, it lets you essentially see on a broad basis what your buyers and what your target market behaves like. Okay, so for example, in this area here, you can choose the age. Okay, in this case, we'll just do 18 and up. You can choose the gender, put in your interest, and even the pages that they're connected to. Okay, so for example, if you have a page that you want to target, like a target market, like for example, you want to target people who buy Nike shoes. So you'd obviously target Nike, the page Nike, right? So that you can sell a competitor shoe brand or something like that, right? So you plug that right in here. Now, if you're doing broad and you're trying to find an interest within your target market, you can also plug it in right here in this area called interest. Okay, so for example, let's go ahead and type in military. Okay, people who let's say you want to sell military products like a t-shirt design or anything related to military and people who are in the military. Okay, so as you can see, when you type in your interest here, it'll pull up some suggestions on some of the type of interests that are available, the broad interests. Okay, so for example, let's just go and click on military. Now that once you've done that, you have some data here. Okay, so about 63% of people interested in military, that keyword, that interest, are 63% men. Okay, 37% women, and you can see basically the age ranges. Okay, roughly the majority of them are within the ages of 18 to 24 and 25 to 34, and even some from 35 to 44, and some trickling in here from 45 to 54. Okay, you can see their type of lifestyle. Okay, for example, what they like. Okay, cartoons, right? Spouses, trucking. Okay, country comfort, right? You can see all that data right here and help you get inside your buyer's mind. Okay, what they like. For example, if you're creating a shirt for the military, you can basically design something related to country, right? Or cartoons or whatever, right? Who knows, right? Um, you never know until you try it, right? Okay, so you can also find the relationship status. Okay, a majority of them are married. Okay, a lot of them are single as well, and this is based on their Facebook relationship status. Okay, their education level. Okay, you see a lot of them are in college. Okay, I mean a lot of people go to the military and the military pays for the school. Okay, and you have another majority here are in high school. Okay, probably those who just recently graduated and joined the military. The job titles. Okay, based on their job description that they put on their Facebook profile, you can find out exactly what type of jobs they hold. Okay, a lot of them put military, veterans, government employees. Okay, transportation and moving. Okay, production. You can see all of this, right? Management, healthcare. Okay, there's a whole bunch right here. A lot of data that you can use. Okay, now let's head over to what's called the page likes, a tab right here called page likes. Now, in this tab, you can find a whole bunch of interests that your target market likes. Okay, for example, in terms of education, we have this page here called Gun Vote. Okay, in terms of clothing, okay, grunt style, Ranger Up, military. Okay, if you're selling military t-shirts, here you go. You have the interest right here that you can use. And what I would recommend is actually going into these pages and finding out essentially the engagement on each page. Okay, that's very important because if you have an interest that you're targeting that has high numbers of engagement, what do you think is going to happen to your ad? Okay, you're going to get more engagements based on the type of people that you're targeting. Of course, if you're targeting a page, with over 1 million, 2 million, and up likes, and there's no engagements at all, you're essentially going to be, wasting your money by targeting these people that don't engage in the product, in the brand. Okay, so it's very important that you find interest groups and do a little bit of research to basically find out if that particular interest is engaging and if it's a potential buyer's market. Okay, so you can check out, what type of entertainment they like. I love World War II planes. Okay, the causes that they contribute to. Okay, the veteran site, Veterans Advantage. Okay, even down to TV shows, right? And companies, like for example, low VA rates. I'm pretty sure that's an insurance company that offers veterans, low interest home loans, car loans, auto loans, things like that. So if you're targeting veterans who, you want to sell an auto loan for veterans, that's the perfect target market right here. Okay, you have a lot of data that you can use and really get into your buyer's mind. It's very important that you do that you understand who your buyers are, you understand who's buying your product, where to target, and how to target that market effectively. Okay, the keyword there is effectively. With Facebook, there are broad markets that you can target, and sometimes you want to just focus down on the more important markets that you can find buyers in. Okay, for example, we see here, what type of websites they go to: LED Concepts, Second Amendments, okay, automobiles, right, and parts, if they go to parts and they buy stuff like that. Okay, there's a whole bunch of data here that you can use. And then the other tab here is called location. You can find out the majority, where people in the military reside. Okay, we have here El Paso, Texas. Okay, we have San Antonio. Okay, we have all the big numbers here. Okay, Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Chicago. Okay, New York. Now, if you're targeting a specific audience and a specific market, you can go into this location area and get that data that helps you basically target those specific markets. Okay, if you're targeting, based on geographic location, this is the data that you need. It's perfect right here. And then the type of activity that they the engagement. Okay, if you're targeting a keyword here, an interest, and you want to see what type of engagement that they have in that community, in that particular interest. For example, how many ads that they click, how many times they comment, versus the pages that they like, the posts that they like. You want to find interest groups that are engaging to your market. Okay, if you don't want to type in something in here and then all of a sudden see that there's no interest. Okay, if you do that, then of course, obviously, you don't want to target those people. Okay, the type of device that you use. Okay, so if you're selling to now with Facebook, a majority of the traffic is going to be mobile traffic. Okay, so obviously right here, okay, desktop only, you have 1%. Okay, that's out of 99%. You have 1% of people in the military that only uses a desktop. Everyone else, 99% of us, have a mobile phone and have a computer. Okay, now these are the people. 34% of people have an actual computer and are on their mobile phones. Okay, very rarely will you find 1% of it that are just on the desktop. So it's very important that when you're targeting these people as well, and you're targeting your products and you're showcasing your products to these audiences, that you have a mobile-friendly website. Because obviously right here, okay, 99% of us have a mobile phone. Okay, 34% of us have both a mobile phone and a desktop. 65% are only on their mobile phones. So you don't want to lose out on 65% of your traffic because you're not targeting mobile-friendly users. So the whole point here is to create your product, create your websites, your e-commerce stores, your Shopify landing pages, cater to the mobile audience. That's very important. Okay, and you can see some demographics here as well. Obviously, when you choose different interest groups, like graphic designers and people who work on the computer, there's this right here, this desktop area is going to shoot up because it's not going to be the same as people in the military. Okay, because obviously those people need a computer to work, right? Okay, you can even check out the household income. This helps you determine what price points you should price your products. Okay, now from our experience, the majority of our sales come from right around the average order value of $20 to $50 in order. Okay, if you're selling a higher end product, of course you want to go for the higher end markets, the people that have more money. But if you're like the rest, the rest of the world that are making $50,000 and below, then you want to target the markets that are making $50,000 and below and hit those average order values of $20 to $50 per order. And those are the type of price points that you want to be pricing your products, okay, on Shopify. We can see that a majority of them are homeowners. Okay, 67% are homeowners, 34% are renters. So you might want to take in consideration, okay, if you're selling a product for military homeowners, for example, you're selling house, house decoration, things like that. You want to target these people right here. Okay. And then the household size, how many children that they have, okay, and things like that. And also the average basically dollar amount for their home value. Okay, so majority of them are between the $100,000 to $500,000 homes. Okay, and also their spending methods, what kind of cars that they use, what kind of things that they purchase. All of this data you can really get in the audience insight, and it's very important that you understand this data so you can understand your buyer's market. You can understand what type of products to sell. Okay, like what I mentioned before. Okay, what kind of purchases that they have. Okay, for example, retail spending. If they go outside and they go buy some things either online or in store. Okay, you have here 60% of people versus 41%. Okay, online purchases. What type of how many of these people actually make purchases online? And you can see that a majority of them actually do purchase online, okay? And about 10% of them don't purchase online at all. So about 90% of people actually shop online, those in the military, okay? What type of things that they buy, okay? This is important, right? You want to find out what type of products that your target market, for example, in this case, the military, are buying, okay? For example, we have here categories: household products, subscription services, okay, like, for example, Dollar Shave Club or Loot Crate, they're all subscription services where they send you products to your mail every single month. Okay, health and beauty, pet products, okay, food and drink, okay, clothing products, sports and outdoors. Look at this. All the data is here, right here for you, okay? It's all there in front of you. Okay, what type of cars that they buy, all right? So let's say you're selling auto accessories. Okay, you can find out what type of cars that they have, and basically cater to that market. Okay, so if you're selling to people in the military who have pickup trucks, okay, you want to sell the pickup truck products, related products. All right, mid-sized cars, sports cars, crossovers. Okay, you have all this data in front of you to essentially see and basically split test which type of audience markets that you can target to. Okay, so for example, you can target people who are in the military and narrow down your audience to people who are in the military and drive pickup trucks. Okay, you can do that on Facebook. Now that you have all this data here, now you're really understanding who your buyer markets are, who your buyers are. Okay, let's head over to our ads manager. Okay, so on your ads manager, this is where you start creating your ad. Okay, now in this case, we have basically it's preset to United States, 18 to 65, and placements on Facebook feeds, Facebook right column, Instagram, etc., and things like that. So if you're targeting the military, okay, people who are in the military, typically from my experience, I usually don't target anyone below 24, the ages of 24. Reason being is that we haven't seen many buyers come from the ages of 18 to 24. Okay, the majority of people who are purchasing online and purchasing our products online are within the ages of 24 to 55. Okay, that's typically the age range. Okay, depending on some products, you know, some ages from 44 to 55 work a lot better. You know, depends on the product. So you have to split test that and you have to find out. Now, once you get enough data on your Facebook ads, you can actually generate reports on who's buying your product based on age and gender, and you can find that out later once you have enough data. Okay, the keyword there is you got to get enough data to find out. All right, and just like what I mentioned here, when finding your interest, finding out what your people like, what your buyers are buying, that's the data that you need in order to avoid spending thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars in what's called mistakes, Facebook mistakes, by not targeting the right people. Okay, so for example, people in the military, we're going to go to demographics. We're going to find out that, okay, ages from 25 to 44, okay, that's usually who we want to target, even up to 54, okay? We might have some people here in our target market ordering our products that actually would like this. Okay, so let's go back to the audience insight. Now, you can also target based on languages, okay? So if you're going to target around the world, you can target people that only speak English, because of course if your ad is only in English, you're going to type that in here. But I haven't seen it to be very, very effective. It does work, but it's not like too crazy, right? What you want to do is you want to focus primarily on the detailed targeting, okay? Like let's go back to page likes here. Like I mentioned before, right? We have all these different categories, okay? You can actually go in and grab one of these categories and find out exactly what type of market and what type of reach you can get from people within the ages of 24 to 55. Okay, so we're gonna get this, we're gonna grab this interest here, this page, this Facebook page, and we're gonna go to our detailed targeting, plug this in, okay, and we can see, boom, right here. Okay, Ranger Up Military and MMA Apparel. So there's over 1 million people here who like this page, okay, who like this brand. But based on this demographics here, it's gonna bring that down, okay? So for example, now we're targeting 660,000 people between the ages of 24 to 55 who like this particular interest, this particular page. Okay, now if you click on this, okay, simply click on this, what Facebook will do is it'll pull up a broad range of interests that are similar to that market. Okay, for example, Ranger Up Military and MMA Apparel. Facebook will suggest for you some interests that are related. Okay, so that it makes it super easy for you to do this. So all you have to do is you just got to find one or two or even a few of them and find out that, okay, here, right, Grunt Style, that's a clothing line. Okay, so it's very related to military apparel. So if you're selling military, military t-shirts, hoodies, and things like that, designed custom for the military, you can target this audience. Okay, for example, 9 Line Apparel. Now, I would highly recommend that before you even do this, that you go out there and you actually go and search these pages on Facebook to find out, remember like what I mentioned before, to find out the engagement, to find out if these people are actually engaging with the posts that the pages have, that they're actually commenting, they're actually liking, they're actually sharing, okay, and doing all these things so that you can target these markets, and they're going to do the same thing for your brand. Okay, they're going to start liking, sharing, commenting, and things like that. And it's very important that you do that and take the time to research. Okay. Now, another thing that you can do is you can go into these pages and you can search for their actual comments, the actual real comments of their fans. Okay, when you start clicking on their fans, you can open up their Facebook page, and sometimes you can do some research and find out what your fans like. Okay, what type of images that they post on their profile page. You can go to their about page and find out what type of, the things that they like, the music that they listen to, and really, really, like what I mentioned, really get into your buyer's mind. Okay, really get in there, dig deep, and find out what they like, what they're listening to, what they're purchasing. And once you have that data, you can trust me on this. Once you have that data, you're going to start finding out that, you're spending a lot less on your advertising, and you're getting a lot more back into your profits. Okay, you're going to be able to sell more. You're going to be able to get more leads. You're going to be able to get more buyers. Okay, based on this interest. Okay, based on these interests. So if you keep clicking on this, you can also just go ahead and just find, of course you're going to do your research first, right? But in this case, I'm just going to go here and add some interest to build this up, to build a potential reach. Now, typically, if you want to go, I would recommend that you go a little bit more broad, just so that you can target the general audience. You can find out if that general audience will like your product. Okay. Now, when it comes to selling products on Shopify and selling products to the your particular target market, it's very important that you do some testing. Okay. Number one, you got to test your interest groups. Okay, if you know that your interest groups are good, you know that there are buyers in your interest groups, then test out your product. Number two, test out your product. After you test out your product within those interest groups, you find out that your product is not working. Okay, obviously your product sucks. All right, if your product is working, you know it's a winning product. You know that the product is selling. You know it's doing really well, and you target a particular interest group. Then you know that your interest group sucks. Okay, you know that your product sells, but your interest group sucks, and vice versa. So you want to do some testing there. So initially, this is what we do. We basically go in and we test out a whole bunch of interest groups for certain products. Okay, and we find out that if the interest group works, and let's say we have 10 different products, okay, and we have the same interest groups but 10 different products, we find out that two out of 10 products actually are selling. So obviously the other 8 products don't work. Like in e-commerce, the number one rule in e-commerce is do not fall in love with your product. Do not fall in love with the design. Let's say you create a unique design and you think it's going to do really well, but your market is not buying. Okay, so obviously do not sell it to that market, because do not sell your product because your product is not working for the market, the general mass audience. Okay, so remember, do not fall in love with your design. Do not fall in love with your product. Find the data. Find the data that's working. Get the buyers. That's really what you should be focusing on. Okay, or else you're going to be spending thousands and thousands of dollars because you fell in love with the product. You think it's going to work really well, but no one is buying. Okay, so just to reiterate. Okay, number one, if your product works and you're targeting a specific interest group, and it doesn't work, then obviously you want to focus on a new interest group. Okay, if your interest, and this is only if you know your product works and if you know your product sells. Okay, if you don't know what product sells, but you know that your interest group is good, test out different products within that interest group and see which products are selling. Okay, once you do that, once you find the data, you're going to be able to scale. And this is why I mentioned that you should go broad. You should go to like 3 million, 5 million, 6 million people, essentially because you can scale. Okay, you can go broad. You can target the market. You can hit the big market and get up and running fast. Okay, once you do that, okay, we have what's called placements. Okay, now in this placements, you can target Facebook feeds, right columns, Instagram, and audience networks. Now, typically, what I do is I target all of them at first, and then I find out what's working. And then essentially, if I find a winning product, basically what I do is sometimes I remove Instagram, audience network, and the right column and just keep the feeds. Or I'll just remove the feeds and just keep the right columns, okay, depending on what's working best. And you want to split test that as well once you're scaling. Okay, and then your daily budget. Typically, I run the ad continuously, but you can start at an end date, at a start date and have an end date, usually typically within a month. Conversion window is 1 day, and then you want to name your ad set so that you know who you're targeting. Okay, so it's organized. Okay, so for example, in this one, we're targeting a broad range. So you're going to type in something like broad audiences, military, broad clothing audiences. Okay. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got some value out of this. Like I mentioned before, really get into your buyer's mindset. Really get to know who your buyers are, what they're buying, where they're going, what type of interest that they have. And once you find that out, once you find that data, you know, the potential is limitless. You can go and you can go and sell multiple products. You can go and find out what products are working. You can go out there and sell all these different products and find winning products using this formula. Okay, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and we'll see you soon.